Hey guys, welcome back to another creepy video compilation. Make sure to like this video so we can get it recommended to others, and hit that subscribe button so you can keep seeing videos just like this.
I'm a massive fan of making movies, but I really do not like Hollywood. It is not for me. The business really scares me. I understand that I'm a part of that business and I enjoy my kind of interactions with it, but that said, I am always looking for ways to kind of remove myself from it, to kind of just live as normal a life as possible.
Poor Tom Holland, bro. My man does not want to have any part of that.
Amazon announced its new Sidewalk wireless network will be open to all developers to interact in their network. All Amazon devices, your Echo, your Ring, whatever you have, pushes out a wireless frequency. Some of these developers have IoT devices and they jumped on this Sidewalk network and they went out into the woods in South Carolina. They still had connectivity to this network. See, that might sound like nothing right now, but think about it. All those people who thought they could go out off the grid and go off network and they couldn't find you. This Sidewalk network from Amazon is going to detect everybody. It has over 90% coverage already over the whole United States. So your smartphone, your smartwatch, the FDA now has to put out new warnings on medical devices because of this. We'll get into that in a minute. But everywhere you go now, you're going to be able to be tracked, and Amazon is going to get data. You know, all of your devices are connected to Wi-Fi. But see, when the Sidewalk network is activated, even though you don't have internet, because you decided, I ain't paying, I don't want to give Amazon no more data, Amazon's automatically going to continue gathering data because it's just going to steal the internet from your neighbor's house. And it does this to everybody's house, and it creates this mesh network. So the more people that have these Amazon devices, this is how they spread their network. And that's why they want you to buy these Ring devices, these Roombas, these smartphones, smartwatches, Fire television. All these devices steals your internet and then sends that internet to its other devices to make sure that everybody is connected to the Amazon network.
See, this is exactly what I told you. This is why I don't have a Roomba. They're mapping out your house. This is why I don't have an Alexa. They're listening to all your conversations. iPhone already records me enough as it is. I don't want Amazon doing it too.
There's a conspiracy that in the 1800s, an ancestor of the Kardashians sacrificed her soul to 4 witches so that all the women in her bloodline would always have fame, success, and beauty. But on the flip side, every man in their lives would suffer because of this. Kylie literally said it herself.
Every male figure that comes and dates a Kardashian, their life kind of just goes downhill after that.
Rob Kardashian going from model / actor to having severe depression and not being able to leave his house. Scott Disick, a very successful businessman, to struggling with alcoholism and depression. Lamar Odom, successful NBA player, to dealing with addictions and overdoses. Travis Scott, one of the most successful artists in the world, has the most disastrous concert in the world, hasn't released an album in years, and has many lawsuits against him. Bruce Jenner, who transitions to Caitlyn and gets ostracized by her whole community. And then we have Kanye, and I think we all know about Kanye.
All this seems to be true, except for the fact that you're trying to blame some witches for this. The Kardashians are just toxic, bro.
About the fact that they gave a fucking moon rock to, was it the Prime Minister of Holland? Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins signed on this plaque, and they gave this moon rock to this guy in Holland, and it turned out to be petrified wood. It was fake. They did fake some photos. There's a photo of Michael Collins who's on a moonwalk from like Gemini 15. And it's not a real photo. It's a photo of him from the test runs that they did. It's in a warehouse, and they blacked out all the background. It's been proven. They reversed the image and blacked out the background. You could see the two of them. If you overlay them, they line up perfectly. It's the exact same image. So someone, whether it is a an overzealous PR agent for NASA or a journalist at the time. Who knows who actually made that photograph? But somebody did and tried to pass that photo off as space. So there's some deception. We know that one is 100%. So then you look at the other ones. You look at the videos of guys falling down, getting yanked back up, and bouncing around like they're on trampolines, and some videos where they're hiding behind the lunar rover. Like, what the fuck are you doing? If you guys tear your suits, you're You guys are jumping around on the moon like you're having a party up there? Is that real? How come I can't get a regular camera through the radar machine, the x-ray machine at the airport, but you guys can fly through the radiation of space, and that shit comes out, well, those cameras were insulated. They were a different kind of camera. The camera was... Not true. Hasselblad said it. They were the same cameras.
Right.
It's a regular camera. There was no specific protection. There's nothing unusual about the protection that those cameras have.
That, and there's a layer past the atmosphere that is just pure radiation that NASA has come out and admit that humans cannot travel through it, and you have to go through this area if you want to get to the moon, by the way. So who's telling the truth here? This is absolutely saddening, man, that this is happening in a first world country. We have the money to fix this, but they just don't fix this. I feel like they're basically running an experiment and they're using California.
Most Americans don't know why Oklahoma has this strange panhandle. What could be going on here that's so important to where Oklahoma needed this land? Well, actually, this strip of land used to be one of the most violent parts of the country where all crimes were legal. This panhandle used to be part of Texas, but when the Missouri Compromise was signed in 1820, this made slavery illegal north of the 36.5 parallel, forcing Texas to give up their land. But the Kansas-Nebraska Act established their land just north of the 37th parallel, leaving a 34-mile gap between Texas and Kansas. For 40 years, this strip of land was known as no man's land and didn't attract the frontier's very best people. Violence and mob justice ran the land, and the one town that boomed in no man's land was fittingly known as Beer City. There was apparently a constant rotation of cowboys from all over the plains, stopping in the tent saloons to load up on drinks, given the US was in its prohibition period. Beer City was eventually put to an end once the debauchery apparently became so great that the US government finally decided this land needed to belong to somebody and, well, gave it to Oklahoma.
I've always wondered why some of the states have stupid shapes. That's pretty cool, man. I didn't know that.
Dave Chappelle was in front of us. They called him Pilot Boy because he had 19 pilots in Hollywood and everybody passed on him and said his show wasn't worth it. Then when he made $500 million, they said even though his contract said he should get half of it, they said he made too much for the contract to be valid, so we'll offer you 10% of what you made. You mean he made $500 million and they offered him 50? Yes. And he said, what do you think my fans are gonna say when they find out you offered me 10% of what I made you? And they said, your fans will believe that you're a crazy crackhead by the time you get home. He got on a flight in LA, and by the time he got to Ohio, it was so.
Cat Williams is always speaking facts, man. He knows some stuff. They do not want this dude in Hollywood no more.
Straight up, if this don't change your mind about the ancient Egyptians, there's no hope for you. This large granite box carved by the Egyptians is on display at the Cairo Museum, which, by the way, granite is hard as harder than steel, and we typically use diamond-tipped electric buzzsaws to cut through it these days. So this box was abandoned by the Egyptians due to this mistake in the cut. Now wait, hold up. I want you to think about this for a sec. Modern explanations claim that the methods ancient Egyptians used to cut granite involved painfully slow and repetitive sawing techniques using copper tools. Don't you think they would have noticed a mistake like this way sooner if they were actually using those snail-paced techniques? Cut like this would have taken several hours, if not days of work, and there's no way they would have done it for that long without noticing this error. They were way smarter than that. Like seriously, the top Egyptologists claimed this is how they cut granite back then. A rate of 4 millimeters per hour, and they're still standing by it. Clearly, the people cutting this block would have booked this mistake much earlier in the process. And they'd have no reason to continue sawing the granite for hours or even days longer as soon as they saw this inaccuracy. Unless they were using some other unknown cutting technique, one that is far quicker than our history books suggest, and possibly far more advanced than even our diamond-tipped buzzsaws. Hey, yo, I gotta go. I've said too much.
There's other videos of actual, I think, engineers that have come out and said that they don't think they were cutting stones with hand tools, that they were using some sort of power tools.
When I read or listened to parts of the Book of Enoch, it talks about the fallen angels coming down and then teaching the people weaponry, technology, how to farm, how to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then they slept with women and created Nephilim. And then in the Book of Enoch, it said these were giant men. Their appetite can never be sustained or whatever.
Fulfilled,
so
yeah.
they would start eating men. And so they're just like these evil, giant creature men. But this Native American talked about in America, these star people came down and they taught the natives how to make bow and arrows and how to cultivate
so it's
farm and
the
like do all
same
this stuff.
story.
And he says, and then these star people would sleep with the women of the tribe. These women would give birth to giants. These giants had red, long hair. He said they would eat the men of our village or just the people. So we had to drive them out and kill them and stuff. I'm like,
It's all lining up. What?
And like I said, that's not that crazy. The tallest recorded person ever was 8 feet 11 inches. That's almost 9 feet. By definition is a giant, right?
This is why I say Mexico is extremely haunted, and this TikTok only just proves my theory. The TikTok that I'm about to show you is actually filmed in Monterrey, Mexico, where my family is originally from. I also do a lot of scary stories and scary videos about parts of Mexico, and if you want to check it out, just go on my page. The video that I'm about to show you, a TikToker was recording his friends playing on the swings, having a good time late at night. But if you look at the video, you can see something in the corner of the right side coming in and out. Just watch this video. It gave me the chills.
No bajes los pies.
Do you guys think that they truly caught something on camera that is unexplainable? Or do you think it is all just a hoax? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you have a scary story or scary video you want to show me, make sure you send it to me at shinebrightwithstar@gmail.com.
I mean, that looks like a real person kind of just creeping in the background. Not a hoax, maybe a creep.
I can never eat Oreos again. Check this out. Watch this then.
Through this book and I see an Oreo and my high hungry ass is like, that looks good, but hold on, wait, what? There's no way the Leviathan crosses on this cookie. Yes, it is. What?
Wow.
Alright, so I guess Leviathan likes Oreos. These are now Leviathan's favorite cookie. I really want to know if this was done on purpose.
It was.
And for what purpose?
In Satanism, in ancient times they honored Satan by consuming a symbol of him, through blood or sacrifice. Still practiced today with the Satanic Oreo.
Wow.
Be wise as serpents, my brothers and sisters, and
It's a good thing I've always bought the bootleg version, so I guess I'm okay. Got that great value, baby.
All the lakes are man-made holding tanks. A lot of those actually have cities underneath that.
Let's talk primary water.
So with the water situation, what they're trying to push is that we're running water. And we're not running water. We will never run water because we live on a water planet. And this is actually funny that relates to this whole topic, is on Instagram, that's the only video that they actually fact checked that I posted up about how we are not of water. They said that this is false and that we are out of water. I've never seen any other video other than the nonsense and whatever else, but so that must be what they're trying to move into next. But basically what there is that it's called primary water. It's water that comes up from inside the earth. If you ever go to like a spring or like a volcano or a creek or a river, you see all that roaring water. It's basically the combination of hydrogen and oxygen coming up from inside the earth to create unlimited new water that does not have pesticides, that does not have sprays, that does not have fluoride. There's no chemicals in it. So what they're going to try to do is, and that's what they're doing right now, is they're trying to say, you know, the lakes are getting low, which all the lakes are man-made holding tanks. So this is a real big one. When you look at a lake, there's 53,000 holding tanks in the United States alone. A lot of those actually have cities underneath that. That's a whole nother topic.
What?
Yeah. So if you go to like South Carolina, there's a lake with a fence around it, and there's the military people who are there, and there's a city below there. There's all buildings and a lot of stuff underneath there. So it's interesting with Lake Mead also being low, there's a city next to it, which it looked like it was completely covered in mud. And that's another one that's right next to the lake.
Okay,
so
dude.
Yeah, you stumbled on.
You stumbled on something. Are these military cities, or are these like something like we don't know about?
They would be pretty much kind of like cities you just never knew existed at one time,
Ancient
right?
civilization, like ancient civilizations. To be clear, are you saying these are active cities that are operating underwater, or
No,
just?
there's probably, I don't think there's anybody in there. I think I think what happened was is they put the lake in that spot to cover up the ruins.
Also, how are they saying we're running out of water when we have desalination plants now? They can literally turn ocean water into fresh water. This guy's onto something.
About 5% apparently of people pick this up. So have a look. There is a subliminal message, which when it's pointed out is crystal clear in the picture you're seeing. And like I say, according to the research, about 5% of people see this. If you look, it's an S, and then you look at the same level between the two middle plants, you'll see an E, and then there's the X on the other side. And our subconscious mind is being programmed with messages and instructions and hypnotic implants all day, every day.
Oh, I remember this one. This one too.
And these, let me add, are the very people who have told us what happened on 9/11, who did it, why it was done, and what should happen as a result.
Go back to bed, America. Your government is in control again. Here's American gladiators. Watch this. Shut up. Go back to bed, America. Here's American gladiators. Here is 56 channels of it. Watch these pituitary bang their souls together and congratulate you on living in the land of freedom. Here you go, America. You are free to do as we tell you. You are free to do as we tell you.
Oh, classic Disney. What I don't understand is, if this is meant for 5% of people that can see it, then what's the point of it? I don't think I would have noticed any of this stuff if he hadn't pointed it out. Like, can you really get brainwashed by something that you don't even realize you're seeing? I don't understand how that works.
Why did a WikiLeaks released email in 2016 involving Hillary Clinton say, quote, "I will be sacrificing a chicken in the backyard to Moloch"? Carthage was a city located in modern-day Tunisia, destroyed during the Third Punic War in 146 BC. The archaeologists quickly found tens of thousands of urns buried beneath the earth. The urns contained the bones and ashes of animals, as well as newborn children. Among the discoveries, the archaeologists also unearthed various artifacts with the inscription MLK. And thanks to hidden camera footage released to the public, a modern-day ritual involving Moloch happens yearly at the infamous site of Bohemian Grove. You see, Bohemian Grove is a camp retreat for the most elite people in the world. This includes celebrities, politicians, ultra-wealthy business people, and even US presidents. The footage depicts a bizarre gathering around a wooden statue of an owl, the symbol of Bohemian Grove. Members stand around it, dressed in strange costumes, chanting and praying to the owl. Then the owl is set on fire with a torch, as members chant and applaud amidst the blaze. There is now debate online that this owl is supposed to symbolize Molech.
That's pretty freaky. That's my first time hearing about that email. Why do we have politicians talking about making sacrifices to Moloch? Seems very unprofessional.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Huh?
What are you doing?
What are you doing with that?
We're trying to figure out how to put gas in the car. I'm sorry, not gas, but in the tire. Can you help me instead of taking video?
You know what that is?
No. What is it?
That's propane.
Oh, shit. Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah.
Where is the gas? Oh, it's air water down there. Sorry. Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah. I thought you were trying to blow the thing.
Anytime I see a video like this, I think, how have you made it this far in life? That is some next level ignorance there. Wow.
Zach, or this backpack, it was like a 3D scanner almost. It's able to like scan your surroundings, and then it actually paints you a picture of everything it scanned. So Zach went back into this cave with this crazy 3D scanner. They captured like this anomaly in this cave, almost like it was floating in the air, and it looked like the resemblance of like a wolf or like a coyote. And you could see the rib cage marks.
Can't
you
see
see the whole
Yeah.
outline, like, and randomly you just see this floating thing, almost like it was transforming or something. But obviously Zach didn't see it. It looked like an animal. They think it's a skinwalker, man.
You have piqued my interest. I gotta find that episode now. Save that for later.
Okay. Don't move in there. No, there's a motorcycle. See?
I don't see nothing down there. Can't be the motorcycles, honey. There's another sparkle. You see what I'm saying?
What's that? What is that?
Tree.
No. You moved it, right? Right there. See it?
Uh-huh.
Look.
There's nobody there. Where? I can't see.
Look. Isn't it those people?
Can't be.
There's nobody.
Not up in the
down
trees.
there. There's nobody down there no more. See?
I think I've seen this video already, like a really long time ago. And this is probably one of the most, I would say, realistic ghost videos I've seen.
Now, something smells fishy. Something just don't sit right with me about this one. Why is this not on the worldwide news? Why am I hearing about this from TikTok? So Johannesburg just went through an underground explosion. So the official story goes that there was an underground explosion through some gases. But to me, something ain't right. So we're not sure how many people was injured, and we're not sure about the full extent of the damage. But my heart goes out to anyone that was affected and any families that was involved. Stay strong.
This one might actually be true though. You guys have seen videos of people throwing firecrackers or lighters down in the sewers and then it'll blow up, right? So I'm assuming there probably is a buildup of gas. Maybe somebody threw a firecracker down there.
A couple of weeks ago, this terreno historians found out about a mysterious phenomenon going on in Santa Rosa, Nuevo León in Mexico. She drove there, she recorded it, and this is what she got on film.
¿Qué tal, amigos? Nos encontramos en las vías del tren de la carretera aquí camino a Santa Rosa, casi cruz con López Mateos. Y pues estuve viendo varios videos que precisamente a las 10 de la noche, faltan como 5 minutos, hay muchos videos en YouTube, los pueden buscar, y en otras plataformas, que a las 10:05 vienen por aquí, empiezan a grabar y se empieza a escuchar el tren, pero no pasa, o sea, como si fuera un tren fantasma. Vamos a esperarnos un rato.
She waits for a while, maybe expecting to see something or hear something, but she isn't expecting what happens next. Pay very close attention.
Bueno, pues ya nos quedamos un rato aquí esperando y efectivamente se empieza a escuchar como si viniera de acá, de lo lejos, y no se ve nada, o sea, no hay nada, no viene nada, y se escucha. Creí que era mentira, a ver, veamos, yo creo que no hay nada, no hay nada.
Not only is she shouting out loud so she can be heard, you can actually see her hair being somewhat affected by the wind current created by the supposed ghost train. What is going on.
Something was off about that clip. Seemed pretty fake.
Do you believe that the government had anything to do with the attack of 9/11? Do you believe in a conspiracy in terms of the attack of 9/11?
No, but I do believe that it is the first time in history that fire has ever melted steel. I do believe that it defies physics for the World Trade Center Tower 7, Building 7, which collapsed in on itself. It is impossible for a building to fall the way it fell without explosives being involved. World Trade Center 7. World Trader 1 and 2 got hit by planes. 7, miraculously, the first time in history, steel was melted by fire. It is physically impossible.
And who do you think is responsible for that?
I have no idea. But to say that we don't know that it imploded and it was an implosion and a demolition is beyond ignorant. Look at the films, get a physics expert here from Yale, from Harvard, pick the school. It defies reason.
Get one.
Imagine if somebody could convince you of that, could prove it to you, Elizabeth.
If someone could sit here right now and prove that to me, I would.
Okay, we're going to call up Harvard and we're going to call up Yale. And we're going to ask somebody from physics to come and explain.
Wait a second, Bush went to Yale. How good could they be?
I mean, a lot of people that were interviewed afterwards too also said they heard explosions coming from underground, which makes absolutely no sense.
A mountain climber from Mexico shares a chilling photo from his trip to the mountains. It was during a podcast that Jesus Olivares shared the image and recounted the story behind it. Doubtless, the picture is pretty creepy to say the least. In 2009, Olivares and a group of friends had traveled to one of the highest mountains in Mexico. The mountain is known as Pico de Orizaba, which has an elevation so high above sea level that it's nearly impossible to climb without an oxygen supply. Many believe that the mountain is uninhabitable for this reason, and therefore lacks civilization. However, many climbers have reported seeing silhouettes of people and other strange shadow-like figures when going up the mountain. While some think that this might have been other climbers in the area, many believe that this might have been the spirits of deceased individuals who tragically died during their climb. Now, Olivares admits to having seen things he couldn't explain. Perhaps this might have been the altitude sickness kicking in, as low levels of oxygen can cause people to hallucinate. But Olivares is certain that what he saw wasn't him just seeing things, but in fact, something real. And to prove it, he has a photo. In a podcast, Olivares claims to have seen shadows and heard distant voices while he and his friends ascended the mountain. These occurrences would come and go, but eventually stop at a certain point. They would continue climbing, feeling less spooked, before later stopping to take photos. Now, lots were taken, but one in particular would catch people's attention. After the trip was over, Olivares posted the pics on his social media and called it a day. But then, the day after, a strange comment was made below one of his photos, which read, "Nice pic, but who's the kid in the background?" Confused by the comment, Olivares in response asked, "What kid?" To which they replied, "The kid in the corner, who is that?" Olivares takes a closer look at the photo. He immediately got goosebumps. Olivares assures us that he and his friends, all adults, were the only ones present at the site. Initially thinking that it was just a rock, he shrugged it off as a case of pareidolia, but upon closer examination, there is clearly a child's face. It doesn't make any sense that someone, let alone a child, would be this high up in the mountain by themselves. Only explanation he can think of is that this was a paranormal incident. But of course, it is solely a theory among many others who've seen the picture. The photo continues to haunt him to this day, even though it was taken back in 2009, and the lack of an explanation reassures him that something paranormal occurred. But as always, what do you think? Did Olivares capture something paranormal? Or might there be a rational explanation for this? Feel free to let me know what you think down below.
If that's a genuine picture and he had no idea who that is definitely terrifying.
I don't know if you guys have ever had a Mickey Mouse cup. You have a cup that has stuff written on the inside. A Mickey Mouse cup specifically has Mickey written on the inside. And when you're drinking liquid, you can see the reflection on the surface of the liquid. And the reflection actually says wicked.
You think that was premeditated?
Yes.
You think that's why Walt named his infamous character Mickey?
Yes.
Did it catch you off guard?
No, I had always known in my gully that Mickey was wicked, just filthy. I grew up watching the very old cartoons of Mickey Mouse where it's black and white. You can actually see Mickey in a factory in one of his episodes where he's making Swiss cheese. And basically what he's doing is there's a conveyor belt and he's taking each one of these blocks of cheese and he's putting it up to his area 1 and poking a hole through the cheese with it. So he's actually going like this to the cheese.
And he's making the Swiss.
Yeah, he's making holes in the cheese with his mouse.
Oh my god, dude. Wow, Disney has no chill. That is hilarious. I cannot believe that. Wow.
Your dreams are no longer safe.
How about this? Can we go from the patterns of your brain when you're looking at an image to reconstructing the image? So the way this worked was they put human beings inside an fMRI machine. They had them look at images and figure out what the patterns are, like translate from image to brain patterns. And then of course they would hide the image. So this is a image of a giraffe that the computer has never seen. It's only looking at the fMRI data, and this is what the computer thinks the human is seeing. Yeah. Now, to get state of the art, here's where the combinatorial aspects, why you can start to see these are all the same demo. To do this kind of imaging, the latest paper, the one that happened even after this, which is already better, uses stable diffusion, uses the thing that you use to make art. Like, what should a thing that you use to make art have anything to do with reading your brain? But of course it goes further. So in this one, they said, can they understand the inner monologue, the things you're saying to yourself in your own mind? Mind you, by the way, when you dream, like your visual cortex runs in reverse, so your dreams are no longer safe. But we'll try this. So they had people watch a video and just narrate what was going on in the video in their mind. So there's a woman, she gets hit in the back, she falls over. This is what the computer reconstructed the person thinking. See a girl, looks just like me, get hit in the back, and then she is knocked off. So our thoughts, are starting to be decoded. Yeah. Just think about what this means for authoritarian states, for instance. Or if you want to generate images that maximally activate your pleasure sensor, anything else. Okay, but let's keep going, right? To really get the sense of the combinatorics of this. How about, can we go from Wi-Fi radio signals, sort of like the Wi-Fi routers in your house, they're bouncing off radio signals that work sort of like sonar. Can you go from that to where human beings are to images? So what they did is they had, a camera looking at a space with people in it. That's sort of like coming in from one eye. The other eye is the radio signals, so sonar from the Wi-Fi router. And they just learned to predict, this is where the human beings are. Then they took away the camera. So all the AI had was the language of radio signals bouncing around a room. And this is what they're able to reconstruct. Real-time 3D pose estimation, right? So suddenly AI has turned every Wi-Fi router into a camera that can work in the dark, specially tuned for tracking living beings. But, luckily, that would require hacking Wi-Fi routers to be able to, do something with that. But how about this? Computer code, that's just a type of language. So you can say, and this is a real example that I tried, GPT, find me a security vulnerability, then write some code to exploit it.
Life is turning into Black Mirror right in front of our eyes, man. They're gonna come after you for crimes you're thinking of committing now. They're gonna start playing commercials in our brains. The future is definitely gonna suck, man. Well, that was the video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Every single one of you is awesome, and I appreciate all of you guys. And thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video. You can also follow me here, here, and here. I'll see you guys next time.